Hello everyone, and welcome back to our Virtualization Architecture series. In our previous session, we established an important fact. Proxmox is not a hypervisor. It is a virtualization management platform that provides enterprise features such as clustering, high availability, live migration, and centralized management. But that naturally raises another question. If Proxmox is not the component responsible for running virtual machines, then what actually performs the virtualization? The answer is kernel-based virtual machine, commonly known as KVM. Unlike VMware ESXi or Microsoft Hypervisor, KVM is not installed as a separate operating system. It is integrated directly into the Linux kernel. This design allows a standard Linux server to transform into a powerful enterprise-grade Type-1 hypervisor capable of running production workloads in modern data centers. In this session, we will explore how KVM works internally, why it was developed, and why it has become one of the most widely deployed virtualization technologies in enterprise and cloud environments. Before KVM was introduced, Linux was an excellent operating system for servers, databases, web hosting, and networking. But it was never designed to run multiple isolated operating systems simultaneously. Organizations needed a virtualization solution that could efficiently share CPU, memory, storage, and networking resources among multiple virtual machines while maintaining strong isolation and performance. Earlier virtualization platforms often relied on software emulation or modified guest operating systems, which introduced additional complexity and performance overhead. The industry required a virtualization technology that could leverage hardware-assisted virtualization features already being introduced by Intel and AMD processors. KVM was developed to bridge this gap by integrating virtualization directly into the Linux kernel instead of building a completely separate operating system. This architectural decision changed the future of enterprise virtualization. KVM would not be possible without hardware virtualization support provided by modern processors. Intel introduced Intel VTX, while AMD introduced AMD-V, also known as Secure Virtual Machine or SVM technology. These processor extensions introduced a new privilege level, commonly referred to as Ring 1, which allows a hypervisor to execute virtual machines securely while maintaining complete control over hardware resources. Whenever a guest operating system attempts to execute privileged instructions, the processor automatically transfers control to the hypervisor through hardware virtualization mechanisms. This significantly reduces the performance overhead associated with traditional software-based virtualization while improving both security and efficiency. Without Intel VTX or AMD-V enabled in the system BIOS, KVM cannot function as a full hardware-assisted hypervisor. One of the most unique aspects of KVM is that it is not an application running on top of Linux. Instead, it is implemented as a kernel module inside the Linux kernel itself. When the KVM kernel modules are loaded, Linux gains the ability to create and manage virtual machines using the processor's hardware virtualization capabilities. From that point onward, every virtual machine is treated by the Linux scheduler as a normal process. The Linux kernel schedules virtual CPUs in exactly the same way it schedules ordinary processes and threads. This approach allows KVM to inherit decades of Linux kernel development, including advanced CPU scheduling, NUMA awareness, memory management, process isolation, security frameworks, and scalability improvements. Instead of creating a completely new hypervisor from scratch, KVM extends one of the world's most mature operating system kernels. Although KVM performs hardware virtualization, it does not work alone. A complete virtualization platform requires several software components working together. At the lowest layer, the Linux kernel provides memory management, process scheduling, device drivers, and hardware access. Integrated into this kernel is the KVM module, which exposes virtualization capabilities using Intel VTX or AMD-V. Above KVM operates QEMU, responsible for hardware emulation, virtual devices, firmware initialization, and machine creation. Libvirt provides standardized APIs and management services for creating, modifying, monitoring, and controlling virtual machines. Finally, enterprise management platforms such as Proxmox, OpenStack, or Red Hat Virtualization interact with Libvirt to deliver graphical interfaces, clustering, automation, and enterprise operational capabilities. This layered architecture separates hardware virtualization from management functionality, making the platform highly modular, scalable, and flexible. Today, KVM is no longer considered simply an open-source virtualization solution. It powers production environments across financial institutions, telecommunications providers, universities, research organizations, hosting companies, and cloud service providers. Major Linux enterprise distributions such as Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Ubuntu Server, SUSE Linux Enterprise Server, Oracle Linux, Alma Linux, and Rocky Linux all include KVM as their standard virtualization technology. Platforms including OpenStack rely heavily on KVM to provide infrastructure as a service environments, while virtualization management platforms such as Proxmox build enterprise capabilities on top of KVM rather than replacing it. Its widespread adoption demonstrates that open-source virtualization can meet the reliability, scalability, and performance requirements of modern enterprise infrastructure. In today's session, we explored the foundation of Linux virtualization. We learned that KVM is not a standalone operating system or a separate virtualization platform. Instead, it is a kernel module that transforms Linux into an enterprise-grade Type-1 hypervisor by utilizing hardware virtualization features available in modern processors. In our next session, we will examine another critical component of this architecture, QEMU. You will discover why KVM alone cannot create a complete virtual machine, and how QEMU provides hardware emulation, virtual devices, firmware, and system initialization to complete the virtualization stack. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.